Little Adele reminding us to go easy on me. Well, we're not done yet. I cannot wait to introduce this next panel of four dynamic women and moms that have been part of the Mom Project in one way or another, whether they've been hired within the platform, they've been a mentor through Rally or mentee, or being a Rise graduate, excuse me. I'm going to hand it over to our moderator, Rosie Zelinskas, CEO and founder of No Woman Left Behind, and just an amazing supporter of the Mom Project.
Hi, thank you, Melissa, for that kind introduction. I am Rosie Zelinskas. I am founder and CEO of No Woman Left Behind. I am a big fan of the Mom Project. I am definitely honored to be here today and to moderate today's session. And as Melissa said, we have four dynamic women here. And before we get started into the questions, I would like for each of these wonderful dynamic women to introduce themselves. So we are going to start with Stephanie. Stephanie, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everybody, and thank you so much for inviting me to this event. My name is Stephanie Morris, and I live in Noblesville, Indiana, with my husband and 3 kids. I have a son who's a sophomore in college and 2 little girls, 8 and 10 years old. The Mom Project helped me in my career journey, and that's how I found out about the position I currently hold at Synchrony Bank.
All right, great. Casey, how about you?
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here today. My name is Casey Hinch, and I live in Seattle, Washington. I have 3 little boys, 8, 5, and 2, and the Mom Project really helped me refresh my skills and make connections. And because of that, I was connected with Grainger last year and started working remotely for them.
Okay, sounds good. Anita, how about you? Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Anita. I live in Charleston. I moved down here from New Jersey in 2021. So if you're in Charleston or from New Jersey, would love to connect. I have 2 daughters, ages 3 and 5. And I found the Mom Project when I was searching for what I have in my current role. And it was just a personalized experience that really spoke to me and felt like it was built for me.
Wonderful. Okay. Lorena, how about you, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Lorena, and I live in the Woodlands, Texas. I have a 10-year-old, and I was looking for a job and looking for a flexible schedule is what brought me to the Mom Project. And I soon realized that job postings that meet a flexible schedule is so much more in the Mom Project. Is everything that I could have ever imagined that helped me in my journey to a career path.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so ladies, we're going to start with a few questions, and I am going to start with Stephanie. So Stephanie, I know you secured your position with Synchronicity via the Mom Project, which is absolutely amazing. So can you please share a little bit more about how you found the Mom Project and talk about your experience with the job search through our platform, please?
Yes, absolutely. You know, to be honest with you, it all started with a Google search. You know, I typed in the search bar, work from home and professional moms, and that's how I stumbled across the Mom Project. You know, I created a profile and loaded my resume, and within hours, I had job openings matching up to my profile for potential matches. And that's how I landed my interview with Synchrony. You know, 2 things prompted me in my job search. And, you know, I knew it was the time for me to take that next step in my career. And then on top of that, we were coming out of COVID, and my employer at the time was requiring us to come back into the office. And something happened to me, you know, during COVID, kind of this aha moment that, you know, I could be home and doing the whole e-learning thing with my kids and still do my job and go, you know, down my career path successfully. So I got the opportunity to come on with Synchrony, and just as a bonus with that, I was able to work remote. So that did 2 things for me. It allowed me to, again, work remote and take that next step in my career.
Okay, wonderful. I don't know how you did it because thank goodness my kids were already older and out of high school, but man, that's a lot to contend with. So, okay, let's move on to Casey. So, Casey, you found your current position at Granger through the Mom Project. How did you discover the Mom Project? So, tell us a little bit more about your job search and your current experience.
Yeah, cool. I'm so excited to be here because my story is coming full circle. I attended this event last year as a participant, and I just wanted to change my career and was hoping to be energized by all the amazing women that were speaking at the event. And now I'm on the flip side where I hope I can be offering some encouragement to everyone out there. So after being home with my children for 7 years, I decided I was ready to return to the workforce, and I came across the Mom Project. I attended several of the events they hosted last year, and I just have to say it was so refreshing to witness companies intentionally seeking to hire mothers. My background is in civil engineering and construction, but I wanted a remote job with flexible hours to accommodate my family and their schedule. So I was actually really seeking a career change to get out of construction. Attending the conference, my objectives were really only to gain encouragement and establish new connections. But fortunately, I met a recruiter from Granger at the conference, and she offered unwavering support and faith in my abilities. And a few months later, I was hired by Granger as an engineering project manager. And I just am so grateful to work for a company that really focuses on hiring and promoting diversity among its employees, because it really makes it a great place to work where everyone feels valued.
Got it. Okay, wonderful. I'm glad you got that support. So, okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Anita, so you have a unique story with the Mom Project, starting with joining Rally, which is a TMP-led initiative that connects community members. And this is one-on-one advice, you get support, and a bunch more stuff. So you joined as a mentee, and now you're new in this spring cohort. So what has drawn you to the Mom Project and especially to Rally?
Yes. So I had a story very much like Stephanie. I think when COVID hit, it was actually a blessing for me because I just had my second daughter. And when I discovered Rally in the first time around, I really needed a accountability partner. It was at a real inflection point in my life where change was really necessary. I was commuting 2 hours each way, and I knew that having a mentor was going to allow me and provide me the accountability that I needed to make my own life a priority. But yes, it's a full circle moment for me being a mentor at this cohort, and I love the Mom Project for all the resources and support it's given me.
That's wonderful. And 2 hours one way, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. So what lessons specifically have you learned from Rally?
So I wouldn't call it lessons as much as I would say it really opened up my perspective on what I could do, what I was capable of doing. I think sometimes when you have very young children, you kind of go through the motions of life and you forget what feeds your soul and your soul's work. Yeah. And the lessons I really got from Rally, besides the great relationship I currently still have with my mentor, was the ability to focus on myself and opening up my perspectives on me as more than a mom.
Got it. And I know in addition to Rally, you were hired through the Mom Project. So talk to us about that experience for you.
Well, every experience I've had with the Mom Project has been awesome. I mean, that is why I'm here today. I think the Mom Project has provided resources and support for moms unlike any other sort of company out there. And that experience was great. It's how I found my current role, which is remote and flexible. And everyone understands when you have, when your children take priority, when there's field trips and vacations and teacher work days and all the things that come along with being a mom. So what's special, I think, for me about the Mom Project and the experience was just inherently knowing that I was coming to a place and trying to find a role for myself that that was backed by a company that supported moms and saw our value.
Got it. Okay, great. Okay, so Lorena, you're next. I want to know, you discovered the Mom Project through RISE, right? So the Mom Project is a 501c3 upskilling and reskilling program. Tell us more about your experience with RISE. Lorena, you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. So I was looking for jobs through the Mom Project. That's how I discovered RISE. I needed flexibility on my schedule because I discovered in 2020 that my little kid, had special needs. And so traveling to the US land, Gulf of Mexico regions and overseas was no longer an option for me. So it was a tough time. I needed a change in my career. So my journey started there with a scholarship. The scholarship was a complete blessing for me. This is how it just gave me the boost to find a new career path. It was a switch of career, like Chairman Manning said earlier. So it gave me the confidence to apply to different industries. So I went to the Recharge event, and that's how I found. I did an application through a Fortune 100 global technology company that is based in Texas. And so I started a RISE scholarship in June. In July, I was starting my new job.
Okay, and so you got your new job through RISE. So tell us about how did your job search experience go through RISE or after RISE?
Okay, so it was in parallel. It was all the situations happened at the same time, but through RISE as well, I had the situation of continuing the communications on mentoring circles. I also have the opportunity for coaching events, monitor my progress on the scholarship. And there was so many emails, so many encouraging notes, always following up. I was easily receiving different communications and different directions on how to apply for jobs, how to get ready, how to get your resume ready. All of those supporting events were very important to me. But at the same time, I was already starting to work in this global technology company. And about that, once I was employed, my supervisor was very happy that I was going through the certification, and she was very supportive about it. So
good. Support is, that's why we're here, right? To support each other. Okay, so I'm going to go on to our next question. I'm going to have you all answer in order. So what advice would you give to other members of our community searching for that next role, or maybe looking to get involved with Rally or RISE? So I'm going to go ahead and start with Stephanie. Stephanie, could you please let us know what you think?
Sure. Stay positive. You got to stay positive. And you know what? Take the interviews, even if you don't get the callbacks. I feel like interviewing is such a great opportunity to give you practice, right? And you can sharpen your skills. So my advice would be keep taking those interviews no matter what, because it's really preparing you for something big to come.
All right, great. That's great advice, taking those interviews. Okay, Casey, how about you?
Yeah, I think there's been so many great insights today from all the women here. But what I would say is just stay authentic to yourself, and you're just amazing the way you are, and the right opportunity will find you. It might just not be on the timing that you're hoping for, but it will come, and it'll be better than what you had even imagined or planned. I also think that it's important to keep putting yourself out there in different ways as you're going through this career journey. So sign up for a new certification, join a meetup group in your area around something that interests you. Just keep moving yourself forward and creating new connections, because that will provide you with more opportunities. And then last, just don't be afraid to ask someone for help or advice, because we really just all need to lean on each other, and we all have had someone help us out to get us to where we are today. So just be willing to be vulnerable and ask someone for help.
Absolutely. I love staying authentic to yourself is perfect. Okay. Anita, how about you? Tell us a little bit about what you think about the Mom Project.
Well, I love the Mom Project, and everyone should sign up for it. I think for me, for the advice that I would give this community is I would definitely stay positive, like Stephanie said, put yourself out there, like Casey said, but also don't be afraid of reaching out to people who you think are currently doing a job that you might like to do and talk to them. Even if you don't know them, take 15 minutes, ask for 15 minutes, 10 minutes of their time, and explain why you are asking for their time. And I've had complete strangers also ask me to talk to them and give them some time, because I might be in an industry or in a role that they might like to get into. And I think just talking to people empowers you and gives you the information, and more information in trying to find a next role is really just helpful in, what are you doing currently and what do you want to do next?
Got it. Okay, great. All right, Lorena, what advice would you give to members of our community searching for a new job?
Yes, of course. Each cover letter, treat it like it's the only one. And I know you probably have heard it before, but truly, truly, try to describe your personality. How is this interest to you? And actually write it down. It matters to an employee to know that the job that you will be performing day in and out, that is something that you like, is something that goes with your personality and personal interest. It's okay to write it down. Whether you're ongoing, you like numbers, making detailed plans, fixing problems. If you like it and it's part of your description, put it in your cover letter, because it's that personal touch that a hiring manager might say, hey, this person will like what she's going to do. So that's my advice.
Great answer. So have your personality come through that cover letter. I think that's great advice. Okay. So let's move on to another question that I want to hear your answer. So we know that this year's theme of the Recharge is all about finding your joy. So what aspects of your job brings joy? And I don't think we talk enough about this. So Stephanie, what aspects of your job brings you joy?
You know what? I thrive on challenge. And I feel like every day I'm faced with a new challenge, no matter what it is. And that brings me joy, because I feel like you learn from those lessons and you can put it in your professional toolbox. Even some cases, you can put it in your personal toolbox. But the fact that I get to use my subject matter expertise, and then it just feels good to know that I'm contributing to the overall success at Synchrony.
All right, great. Casey, how about you? What brings you joy in your job today?
So I think what brings me joy in my job is that I had a complete industry switch. I went from civil engineering to more technical engineering. And I've been there a little over 9 months now. And finally, I'm sitting in meetings where I understand the acronyms and the industry language and the technology that's being spoken about. And I'm just proud of myself for making that jump into a completely new industry and really embracing it and learning it and asking questions. Yeah.
Great. All right. Okay, Anita, how about you?
Yeah, the social impact work I do brings me joy because I get to provide free programs to schools and really open up the hearts and minds of youth and teachers. And there is nothing better than bring smiles to kids' faces for me. And also just from the appreciation that the schools have. In my coaching business, I think what brings me joy is I'm a helper by nature. So just seeing my clients succeed and really thrive and helping them making a decision that could be challenging or could change their lives.
Okay, great. And Lorena, what about you? What brings you joy from your job today?
Yeah, learning new things, just like Casey was talking about. And my background was engineering as well, but in oil and gas. And I switched completely industries to a technology company. Today, I can completely relate to you, Casey, having to now understanding a little bit more what's happening. It has been a roller coaster, but I enjoy it. So it is learning new things. Helping solve problems gives me the feeling that I am contributing to my team, to the company, and ultimately to the world. Also brings me joy talking to different people of different backgrounds. That's something that I just having to adapt and listen different communication styles. I love it.
Yeah, talking to people is very important, especially if you work remotely, right? So
Yeah.
okay. All right. So I do want to ask you all one more question. So we're always working for that, or looking for that work-life balance, right? I don't think that's actually possible, but I want to hear from you. What are your biggest tips today to try to get to that elusive work-life balance? So Stephanie, why don't we start with you right now?
Sure. You know, I used to think, especially when I was a new mom, that I could not do both successfully or to the best of my ability. But again, I really think COVID taught us a lot of things. Like we could juggle it, we could do it all. And so one of the things that I would say to my future self back then was, you can find it. I mean, really, if you are passionate about balancing out both of them, and if you want the best of both worlds, you go after it. I mean, it's going to be tough. It really is, at least in the beginning, to find it. But if you're persistent and passionate about it, I trust that, you know, big things will come your way.
Got it. Okay. Casey, what about you? Work-life balance thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's important to just be kind with yourself and give yourself grace, which I think was spoken a little bit earlier on in the meeting. But you know, like there's going to be different seasons. So some seasons you're going to have to dive deeper into work, and some seasons you can dive deeper into time with your children. But then also recognize when to decline opportunities that don't really contribute to your personal growth, your career advancement, or impact your family time. We all know what those things are that are thrown at us, like a volunteer opportunity or like an extra activity for your child. Like if it doesn't support you and your goals and your family time, then just say no to it. And I know that we're not trained necessarily to say no, but it's important to do that. And then just like always be okay with your life kind of rebalancing. So, you know, some days it's okay to let your kids stay in daycare a little longer so that you can go work out. Just make sure that you take care of yourself, because then you can show up better in all the other facets of your life.
Okay, great. Anita, how about you?
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah, I'm not sure balance is a good word for me, but I think I heard someone say one time, and I believe this and it's always stuck with me, which is, I'm not a working mom. I'm a mom who's working. So I prioritize being a mom. For me, you know, I prioritize being a mom first and working second. My biggest sort of advice or tips for balance is just keeping those priorities and making sure that you know what those are, because at the end of the day, like Casey said, it's seasons, it's chapters. This is a chapter in our life that is going to end and a new chapter will begin, and there'll be many more after this. So in other words, you know, it's a marathon. And so we have to kind of remember that and keep our priorities, just keep our priorities where they are and make sure that we're really not sacrificing on those, because there will be an end one day where our kids are going to grow up and not really need us anymore. And we have to sort of look back and, you know, be happy with what we did.
Got it. Okay. And Lorena, how about you? Last about work-life balance.
Absolutely. Flexibility is a must in your life, and probably as moms, we do need it. It is important that you have the confidence. Just have to go and ask during the job interview, because just you know that a lot of companies are currently offering job balance as a plus, and they advertise it on the website that it's okay to ask. Just find a moment. So first engage on what the job is about. Try to talk about your skills, how you are good for the role. Have that first, create that interaction, and then find the moment to inquire about travel, because if you don't get to understand, at least to understand it, it could be complicated for you. But then, okay, so that's the first interview process. And then once you land the job, because you will, once you land it, talk to your supervisor and understand how these expectations can be met, because that way it will work for the company and it will work for you. Just communication is key.
Got it. Okay. All right. We have time for just one more question. This may not apply to all of you, so I'm going to kind of open it up a little bit. Can any of you speak to how you would highlight on your resume the fact that you had a career break? So I know you stayed home with your kids for some years. So on your resume, what do you say? So Lorena, why don't we start with you?
Of course, yes. So it was interesting. I didn't actually describe anything on my resume. It just, the dates are the dates, period. No excuse, because, we're humans, right? Now, the question came during the interview, what happened? And I said, well, I needed to take care of my son. I discovered he had special needs, and it was my priority. My priority is to be a mom. So, and that's it. I mean, I wasn't prepared for that question in the interview. However, that question came towards the end, and at that point, I was fortunate that we had already talked about job flexibility, and that came out really well. But so it's very good that we're talking about it today, so that you have that. Don't feel shame for it. It's your life, right? Like Anita, I think you said, you're not you're a mom that works, not a worker that is a mom.
Right. I agree. Okay. Anybody else? Anita, do you have any advice on this one?
I did not have a career break, so I don't know what to give moms. Does anybody? I think Casey might have.
Yeah. I did. I raised my kids. I stayed home with them for 7 years. Best decision ever. I never regret that time, no matter if it sets you back. I mean, that, like Anita said, you're never getting those moments back. So I didn't apologize for that. I didn't necessarily put it on my resume. I put it on my LinkedIn profile. They do have an option to say career break, and you can say for how long. I think what's really important to highlight is that you didn't just sit at home and twiddle your thumbs during that time. You were working hard, raising the future, raising children that know how to be kind and respectful and work hard. And also I did a lot of different types of volunteer service during that time. So I made sure to highlight that, because all of those require coordination and time. And I think that it's important to show that you just weren't sitting at home. And don't shy away from it. Don't apologize for it. Like Lorena was saying, it's an important part of you. It helped develop you into the person you are today. So I think it makes you a better, well-rounded employee, because you have a good set of values and different experiences.
Great. And of course, when you're a stay-at-home mom, you're the CEO of your home, right?
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of skills that you can transfer onto a resume. Stephanie, I just want to give you an opportunity just so that you don't feel left out.
That's okay. I did not take a career break, but what a brave thing to do and to even talk through. I don't think you should have to apologize for that either. If I was on the flip side doing the interviewing, I would think that is such a brave thing to stay home with your children. And I hope that nobody ever looks down on that opportunity that you were given.
All right, wonderful. Well, I can attest that your time with your children is very limited, even though they may be little right now. I just took my 24-year-old son to the airport, where he now lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and I live in Chicago. And it just breaks my heart that he's not here. And I would savor those moments that you're having with your little ones right now. So thank you all so very much for joining us today. I loved hearing all of your stories, and you all had tremendous advice to give us to all of the community at the Mom Project here. And I hope that everybody has learned. I know I've learned some things that I can incorporate into my career, and I'm already in the bottom third of my career, but it's always good to share and support each other. And so Thank you all for your time. This was amazing, and good luck to everybody, in your careers. And I think we are all set for this segment. So over to you, Belissa.